My mom got me a phone for my 13th birthday, but what she did next destroyed our relationship forever. She bought me a smartphone for my 13th birthday, and for a few hours I really believed it was the beginning of something open and ordinary between us. A phone would mean calls, awkward teenage selfies, and the little private world of messages. She wrapped it clumsily, held it out with a theatrical bow, and said she trusted me enough now to have my own device. I unboxed it. I smiled, I posed for photos, and I promised myself I'd be careful and responsible. The next morning, the screen began to behave oddly. Notifications blinked even when I hadn't touched the device. Apps opened on their own, and a subtle, persistent ping from the family laptop told me my location was being updated to someone else. At first, I told myself there must be an account sync or a glitch, but the feeling in my stomach tightened the moment my mom stormed into the living room holding her phone like evidence from a trial. She brandished a screenshot that showed my check-in at a friend's house after school and read a private message aloud so loudly the room went very still. She accused me of sneaking out and of trying to be dramatic for attention, then turned to my father and insisted I was lying. Hearing my own words spoken like proof of wrongdoing was humiliating. It felt like the privacy in my head had been excavated and put on display. That was the exact instant something inside me folded in on itself. I wiped the smartphone clean, performed a factory reset, and then did something more final. I sold the device and bought a cheap flip phone that could call and text and nothing else. I stopped using cloud backups, social apps, and any camera that might upload photos automatically. I treated every message as if a stranger could read it at any time and learned the empty, defensive comfort of doing almost everything offline. The first weeks felt lighter. I liked the way the flip phone's small, clunky buttons forced conversations to be short and direct, and how not having a screen full of curated content left space in my head. Still, my mom complained often that I had grown secretive and cold. She called it distance and worried loudly that I was being closed off from family life. 3 years of that nagging added up. She eventually arranged therapy, a kind of intervention masked as concern. In the therapist's tidy office, I sat rigid beside her while she smiled and promised to be patient, but I couldn't risk telling the truth with her sitting so close. The therapist asked why I was guarded, and I gave the standard answers that felt thin and unconvincing even to me. Last week, after a brief argument about my habits and after a long silence, she finally asked me directly why I had changed. I told her the whole thing in a voice that trembled halfway through, how she had linked my account to hers, how she had monitored my movements and photos, and how she had weaponized a private message to shame me in front of family. She began to cry and kept repeating that she only wanted to keep me safe, that she had acted out of love. Her tears were real, and for a moment I felt a tug of that old, uncomplicated affection. But trust is a fragile ledger. Once the entries have been erased and scrambled, you can't simply retype them and expect the balance to be the same. She offered a new phone as a symbolic fresh start, holding up a sealed box like proof that everything could go back to normal. She swore there would be no monitoring apps, no linked accounts, and no sneaking into my photos. She asked me to take it and to forgive her. I held the package, felt its weight, and thought about all the small ways privacy had been chipped away over the years. The screenshot in the kitchen, the late-night pings, the therapist probing when she sat in on sessions. And I realized the choice wasn't about hardware. It wasn't about a phone at all. I smiled, soft and final, and declined. I told her I'd prefer to keep the flip phone and to keep some distance until she could earn back what she had taken by respecting boundaries, not by promising them. She left the sealed box on the countertop. I don't regret keeping my distance. The wound had been deep, and I am learning to protect the private parts of myself that matter most. I don't hate her. I know worry can twist people into violating the very things they want to preserve. But I also know now that privacy is worth more to me than another device that could become another window into my life. I'm cautious now, and that's okay. I've learned to set clearer boundaries and to value quiet, private moments more than anything flashy or performative.